What to pack? Okay, many of you are kind of curious about packing. The average temperature in Scotland in the summer is about 69. Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? And so different than Las Vegas. So one of the gems of this trip is going to be that you get out of the Vegas heat and you're going to be in something completely different. Now, we have had some days where there's been a heat wave where it got into the 90s over there, and that was miserable because Scotland is really not set up for hot weather. Especially in the venues, things might not be air conditioned. So in terms of what to pack, what I always say when you travel and when you tour, pack layers. Be able to layer things together. So I also suggest clothes that are easy to launder. Yeah. So sometimes some shirts are much lighter and they don't stay as wet as long. So sometimes that really heavy cotton t-shirt, I tend not to pack it when I'm traveling because it just takes longer to launder, and sometimes it takes more space in my luggage also. So what I tend to do is have things that I can layer together so that I can go through the day and go from maybe a chilly morning to a warmer afternoon, and also to know that it might rain in Scotland. So sometimes an umbrella, which they call a brolly, is good to have for there too. Our apartment will have laundry. It's £3.50, so kind of $5-ish to do a load of laundry at the venue. So other things to know is that I sometimes find that American washing machines are bigger than machines in the UK. We've even had some machines in the UK that have they do everything. It's an all-in-one machine, so it will wash the clothes, then it will dry the clothes, which seems efficient, but sometimes is less efficient. So again, clothes that can dry are good, to have. Brits and ice. Ice is one of the things that we find very different between what we have in the US and what we have in Europe and the UK. So we think of ice differently. So it's not really, most of the time when I come back to America from being in Europe, what I want is a big old glass of iced tea with a lot of ice in it. So iced tea is something that, the Brits have a hot tea. And the Scottish have the hot tea. So sometimes an iced tea is difficult to find. And then sometimes the sense of ice, like how much ice is in a glass, is very different. So you won't just have that like a big gulp that is just this big old cup of ice. So that's something that is different and something new to encounter. What to pack? You're allowed on the trip one carry-on, one personal item that you take with you on the plane, okay? And then you're allowed one checked bag, and your checked bag can only be up to 50 pounds. Yeah, 50 pounds is important. So I would always suggest be under 50 pounds. You do not want to be that person at the airport that is trying to take 10 pounds out of a bag and find another place to carry it or put it. Try to have that space. And also when you travel, space in your luggage is, it's a luxury, because then if you find something there that you want to carry back, you can do that with you. So also know any extra checked bags, it's the airline says it's $100. We're going to probably have at least 3 extra bags that I'm going to ask various people to carry with them on this trip, because those are the bags for the show. So various costume things. So also, all of you will carry 5 pounds of our buttons. Yeah, so make sure you have 5 pounds of empty space in your checked luggage that you can put the buttons into to take over there. You will get rid of all the buttons as part of our marketing, and then you will have that 5 pounds that you can fill with souvenirs and things when you come home. So that's the agreement for that. Also know and read any TSA rules about what you can travel with. The biggest thing from traveling that I see is people that are taking liquids, that the liquid things in your bags are the hardest things to get through security. Sometimes it's just that big bottle of water. You can't have that. You can buy that in the airport once you clear security, but you cannot carry it through the airport. I also suggest to people don't in your carry-on luggage, don't carry that expensive shampoo that you want, where it's some big bottle of shampoo. So everything needs to be 3 ounces or less. So that's a thing to keep track of if you're carrying it. If it's in your checked bag, it's fine. Yeah. If it's in your checked bag, make sure all the lids are screwed on tight, because you don't want to have shampoo all over all of your things. And then have to do laundry right away before you've even used that. So liquids are a big thing. Another thing to know is that battery packs, that's another thing that seems to be they're catching on to, is because people have bigger and bigger battery packs. So if you have a power bank that is over 160 watts, you cannot carry it. So things that have batteries, like hoverboards, you can't take it. So you can't, I don't even think you want those things in Scotland because of the cobblestones, but you can't take those kinds of electric batteries with you. I have a battery that's over 100 watts, and that needs special permission. So anything that is between 100 and 160 needs special permission to carry it on. It's not that hard to get it. In fact, I've already contacted and let the airline know that I'm getting, and I got a note put on my ticket that I'm carrying a battery pack like that. But you don't want to travel with things that might be taken away from you, especially if they're expensive electronics. Yeah, so those are good to know. Other things when you travel internationally, medications, often the medication should be in the marked bottle, that you have with your prescription on it. I don't know that the UK is that specific about it, or Europe, but some countries like Australia will take medication away from you if it doesn't. I've had that happen to me before with things like ibuprofen, where I just poured it into a Ziploc bag and said, oh, this is easier, and then I'll have to carry this big bottle. Yeah, so just know that if you do that, they can take it away from you. This is a UNLV school trip, so no one is allowed to travel with narcotics or illegal drugs or firearms. Those things should not be in any of your luggage. And I laugh a little bit about it, but just know whenever you go through TSA, they are allowed to look through all of your luggage. And when you go through customs, they also are allowed to look through all of your luggage. And we've had instances in the past where someone has said, where a customs agent has said, to a student, what's in your bags? And they made a joke like, oh yeah, there's drugs in there. And then there's drugs, and then the student was surprised when the bag had to be completely taken apart, and we had to wait for a dog to come to sniff everything to make sure that there weren't in fact drugs in there. So again, those areas, TSA, immigration, customs, those are places to be serious and follow the rules. Yeah. The biggest thing I would suggest to pack really good walking shoes. You're going to be doing a lot of walking. You can check your steps on your phone. A lot of times people will walk, between 1 and 2 miles a day while they're here in the US. But then we go over to Scotland, or you go over to Europe, and you're suddenly walking 6 miles a day. Yeah, it's great exercise. And there's also a lot of steps that you're going to be doing. So the thing is to wear shoes. In Scotland, there are stairs, there are hills, there are endless roads of cobblestones. So I sometimes say that flip-flops and your Crocs might not be the most friendly thing in the world. We have had dancers in the past who have injured themselves because of flip-flops, and because of tripping on cobblestones. And not wearing the proper shoes, so then we end up with ankle injuries. For the dancers, also to know that some of the surfaces you'll be dancing on, some of the stages might be super hard. Yeah, so they might not be as friendly as some of the stages you're used to or the dance studio. So you want to really protect your ankles. You want to really protect your feet. Okay, packing. Some Lewis packing rules. Yeah, my rule for packing is always I do this. I go into my closet and I pull out everything that I think I want to take on the trip. Then I put it on the bed. Then usually I look at it and I take half of it and put it back in the closet. Yeah, most people are not the most efficient, and most of us, what we find is that we take far too much with us on the trip. And then we'll think, oh my God, I haven't worn this in a long time, but I think I really need this glamorous, sequence, whatever. You might not, on the trip. So again, make sure you pack things efficiently, because the space is going to be the best thing that you have with you, especially if you find things that you really want, these books, these things, you want to bring these things back with you. Undoubtedly, all of you will be buying things that you will wear, or you'll find a t-shirt, someone will give you a t-shirt that you will have those things. So I also tend to pack one nice outfit, so just in case something happens and you've been invited and you want to dress to impress somewhere. So it's always good to have one great outfit that you can do. Another rule of packing I always have is that only pack what you can manage to carry through an airport on your own. Yeah. If you need extra help to carry things with you, then you're probably carrying too much with you. And that's essential when you do a lot of traveling, like you're taking the train or you're going into a subway, you're doing lots of things, is that might make it really difficult. And again, look at the things and think, am I really going to wear this? Yeah. And sometimes it's better to be able to do laundry than to have just enough clothes for the entire trip. Yeah. When you travel, don't pack fruits, don't pack vegetables, don't pack shellfish. These are things that often customs and immigrations of those countries do not let you take and carry in. So you can always go on the internet and check to see, am I allowed to carry this there, or am I allowed to carry it back?